I died, choking on my own blood, the metallic tang flooding my mouth as the pills I'd swallowed in desperation dissolved into oblivion. Betrayed by the man I'd loved for 20 years and the viper he'd brought into our home. I clawed at the bathroom tiles, whispering curses that no one heard, until the darkness swallowed me whole. But death wasn't the end. It was a goddamn reset button, slamming me back into my body 5 years earlier, heart pounding like a jackhammer in my chest as I stared at my reflection in that same fogged-up mirror. Alive, 39 years old, and burning with a rage that could level cities. The first breath I took in this second chance was a gasp, raw and disbelieving, as the steam from the shower I'd just stepped out of curled around me like smoke from a fresh wound. My hands smooth, unscarred, not yet twisted from the arthritis that would come later, trembled as I touched my face. Poppy Harrington. Wife. Mother. Corporate drone at a midtown ad agency. But I wasn't that naive fool anymore. I remembered everything. The endless nights forging signatures on my husband's shady deals to keep our facade intact. The way he'd gaslight me into thinking I was losing my mind. And worst of all, the daughter-in-law who'd slithered in like a trust fund serpent, whispering poison until our family unraveled like cheap thread. It was 2020, the height of the pandemic lockdowns, and New York City was a ghost town of mass strangers and empty subways. I'd just come home from a grueling Zoom call, the kind where clients screamed about delayed campaigns while I nodded like a bobblehead, hiding the bruises on my soul. In my first life, this was the night it all started cracking. Mark, my husband, announced Lila's arrival. She's family now, he'd said with that salesman grin, clapping me on the back like I was one of the boys at the firm. Lila Voss, his protege from the investment bank, 28 and polished as a diamond cufflink, with legs that went on forever and a laugh that masked the knife she kept in her designer purse. I dried off, wrapped myself in the robe that still smelled like lavender detergent, not yet tainted by the stale regret of hospital visits, and padded into the bedroom. Mark was sprawled on the king-sized bed we'd bought in a fit of optimism during our honeymoon in Napa, scrolling his phone, oblivious. God. He looked so young still. Salt and pepper hair tousled. That jawline I used to trace with my fingers, now itching for my fist. Hey, babe, he murmured without looking up. Rough day. In the old timeline, I'd have collapsed beside him, spilling about the office drama, letting him pull me close and murmur sympathies that dissolved into sex, our ritual band-aid for everything from mortgage stress to his growing distance. But not this time. This time, I stood in the doorway, arms crossed, and said, Mark, we need to talk about the firm. The audits. He sat up, brow furrowing in that practiced concern. Audits? What audits? Everything's clean. Pops. You worry too much. I smiled, thin and sharp, the kind of smile sharks give before the strike. Oh, I know. But let's make sure it stays that way. Because I remembered the audits, the ones that would come roaring in 2025, exposing the millions he'd siphoned through offshore accounts, with me as the fall guy, my forged signatures the noose around my neck. Lila had orchestrated it all, her mentorship a cover for seducing him, then blackmailing him into the scheme. She'd played the grieving widow at my funeral, tears streaming as she consoled our son, Ethan, who was too buried in his Silicon Valley startup to see the rot. That night, I lay awake beside him, plotting. Revenge wasn't a flash of violence, it was a slow poison. American-style, lawsuits, leaks, the court of public opinion. I'd start small, untangle myself from his finances. Call the lawyer tomorrow. The one who'd represented me in the divorce I never got to file. But first, I had to play the part. Keep Lila close. Let her think she was winning, until the trap snapped shut. The next morning, over coffee in our Tribeca loft, exposed brick walls, Eames chairs that screamed, "We've made it," I broached her arrival. "So, Lila's coming to stay? With the borders closed and all?" Mark nodded, sipping his pour-over like it was the elixir of innocence. "Yeah. Poor kids' folks are in Europe. Flights grounded. She'll crash in the guest room. Help with the firm remotely. You two will hit it off, both so driven." Driven. That's what he'd called her when she first appeared at our holiday party in 2019. A vision in red silk, toasting to disrupting the status quo. I'd toasted back, clinking glasses, while inside, something curdled. Now, I knew why. She targeted him like a hostile takeover, sleeping her way to the boardroom, then twisting the knife by framing me as the embezzler. The evidence? Emails I'd sent from my laptop, which she'd hacked during a girls' night wine session. "I look forward to it," I lied, stirring sugar into my mug with deliberate slowness. Ethan called then, his voice crackling from the Bay Area. "Mom, Dad says Lila's moving in?" "Cool. She's got killer ideas for my app. My boy, 24 and brilliant, coding the next big thing in fintech." In the old life, Lila had charmed him too, becoming his confidant, then his lover, while I rotted in jail awaiting trial. Abandoned. "Just be careful, sweetie," I said lightly. "New people can be complicated." He laughed it off. "Kids. They think Betrayal wears a warning label." Lila arrived that afternoon, rolling up in a sleek black Audi, suitcases monogrammed LV. She hugged Mark first, too tight, too long, then turned to me with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Poppy, Mark's told me so much. You're basically running the show at the agency." Flattery. The first barb. "Oh. You know how it is, glue holding the chaos together." We shook hands, hers cool and manicured, mine steady. As she unpacked in the guest room overlooking the Hudson, I slipped into Mark's office, his laptop open like an invitation. Password. Our anniversary. Pathetic. I didn't touch the files yet, just planted a tracker app. The kind I'd learned about from those true crime podcasts that kept me sane in prison. Later, I'd have proof. For now, I watched her from the kitchen window, arranging her Lululemon in the closet, humming some indie track. She was beautiful. I'll give her that blonde bob. Yoga-toned. The epitome of the girl who lunch. But beauty's just camouflage for the ugly inside. That evening, we ordered Thai, pad cew, and green curry, the spice a welcome burn against the chills settling in my veins. Over plates on the coffee table, Netflix droning some true crime doc in the background, Lila launched her charm offensive. "Poppy, your place is insane. Total power couple vibes." Mark beamed, arm around my shoulders. "She's the brains." I nodded, forking noodles. "And you're the ambition." Her laugh tinkled like breaking glass. Under the table, my foot tapped a rhythm, one day closer. The first week blurred into lockdown routines, virtual meetings, grocery runs masked and distant, the city a muffled roar beyond our windows. I played the gracious host, cooking brunches of avocado toast and poached eggs, quizzing her on her brilliant Harvard MBA. She lapped it up, dropping hints about Mark's genius at the firm, how they were revolutionizing investments. Subtext: you're just the wife. One night, after Mark crashed early from too much scotch, she cornered me in the kitchen, wine glass in hand. Can I be real? Mark's lucky. You're so grounded. I wish I had that. Her eyes flicked to my ring. A 2-carat solitaire, now feeling like a shackle. In the old life, this was when she'd start the seduction late-night work sessions in his office. Doors ajar just enough for me to hear the murmurs. Grounded's code for boring. Lila. What's your poison excitement? She blinked, then grinned. Touché. But hey, maybe we team up. Girl power in this boys' club. I clinked her glass. To empires. As she turned away, I whispered to myself. And their ruins. By month's end, the tracker pinged, emails to offshore brokers. Drafts in her name, but from his account. Sloppy. They thought I was blind. I forwarded copies to a burner email. Heart racing not from fear, but anticipation. Revenge tasted like the first sip of bourbon after a dry spell, smooth, then scorching. Ethan visited virtually, his face pixelated on screen, gushing about Lila's feedback on his pitch deck. She's savage.
Mom
says I could crush it in VC. Savage is right, I murmured, smiling for the camera. Off screen, my nails dug into my palm. She was already weaving her web around him, positioning herself as the cool ant-turn mentor. In 5 years, she'd be his fiancée, toasting at my empty grave. I needed allies. Quietly, I reached out to my old college roommate, Sarah, a PI now in Queens, tough as Jersey asphalt. Hypothetical, I texted. Husband's firm shady. How to dig without getting buried. Her reply, start with the trash. And the wife. She's always the last to know. I knew too much already. But knowledge was my weapon, sharpened on the whetstone of death. As summer bled into fall, the leaves turning fire orange outside our loft, Lila's stay stretched. Mark suggested making it permanent. She closes deals from here. Why not? I agreed, voice honeyed. Inside, the plan crystallized. Let her build the house of cards, then kick the legs out. One rainy afternoon, alone with her while Mark golfed virtually. Poor bastard. She tried the first probe. We were baking her idea, bonding over chocolate chip cookies from a box mix. Poppy, ever feel like you're missing out? Mark's so focused on work. You deserve more. Her hand brushed mine, flour dusted, eyes wide with feigned empathy. This was the playbook. Isolate the wife. Plant doubts. Then swoop. In the old life.
Ide Krumblat.
Confessing insecurities that she twisted into ammunition. I met her gaze. Unflinching. Missing out?
Nah.
I've got everything I need right here. I pressed the dough harder. The scent of vanilla masking the lie. But you, single life's a grind. Anyone special? She waved it off, but her cheeks pinked. Men are predictable. I like control. Control's an illusion. Honey. I slid the tray into the oven, timer ticking like a bomb. One wrong move, and it all burns. That night, as rain lashed the windows, Mark pulled me close in bed. You're different lately. Sexier. What's up? Lockdown epiphany, I whispered, tracing his chest. Life's too short. And I meant it, every thrust a reminder of the years wasted. Every moan a vow, you'd pay for stealing them. By winter, the crack showed. Lila's work with Mark grew late, laughter spilling from the office. I didn't confront, I documented. Screenshots.
Timestamps.
Even a hidden cam in the ficus tech from Sarah, who charged me in favors, not cash. Ethan announced his move east, to network better, thanks to Lila.
My boy.
Home for Christmas, eyes lighting up at her stories of Wall Street conquests. She gifted him a smartwatch. Engraved, Future Mogul. I gifted him a journal. Write your truths.
F.
Before someone else does. He hugged me. Awkward. You're getting weird, Mom. Weird was surviving your own murder. The dinner that changed nothing and everything was New Year's Eve 2020. Catered spread, lobster bisque, filet mignon, my special apple pie for dessert. Champagne popped, toasts to new beginnings. Lila, in a slinky black dress, raised her flute. To family. The ones we choose. Mark echoed, kissing her cheek. My stomach twisted, but I smiled. Here. As plates cleared, Ethan pulled me aside. Mom, Lila says you're stressed. Maybe therapy.
Therapy.
The old me had tried it, spilling to a shrink she'd bribed for notes.
Ivy fine.
Baby.
Just.
Watchful. The pie came out steaming, cinnamon crust golden. Lila took a bite, then paused, fork midway. Poppy, this is interesting. Did you use raisins? It's like rustic. The room hushed. Mark chuckled nervously. Babe, it's great. But her eyes gleamed. The first public jab. Testing waters. I set my slice down. Rustic? That's the charm. Not everything needs to be Instagram perfect. Ethan shifted. Uncomfortable. Lila shrugged. Just saying. A sweetie could elevate it.
Sweetie.
Like I was the help. That was the spark. But the inferno? It waited. 5 years distant. January 2021 hit like a freight train, vaccines rolling out. But the city's pulse still faint, a hangover from the year's chaos. I threw myself into work, pitching campaigns for mask brands and virtual therapy apps. My mind half on billboards, half on blueprints for downfall. Sarah's digs turned up gold. Lila's student loans. Daddy's a disgraced senator from Connecticut. Her inheritance, a web of favors and falsified creds. Mark, deeper in, wiring funds to a Cayman shell company named after our wedding song. Endless Love LLC. Ironic as hell. I started small countermoves. Quietly transferred our joint savings to a solo account, framed it as financial independence project. Mark bought it. Even praised me over steak frites at Le Bernardin. Our first dine out since lockdown. Proud of you.
Pops.
Taking charge. If only he knew. Lila watched us that night. Across the booth. Her smile a rictus. Later. In the cab home. She leaned into him, whispering about synergies. I pretended sleep, memorizing the cadence. Ethan arrived full-time in February, subletting a shoebox in Brooklyn but crashing at the loft most nights. He and Lila bonded over pitch decks and cold brews, her anti-roll morphing into something stickier. I'd catch them on the balcony, heads bent over laptops, her hand lingering on his knee. Jealousy? No, disgust. In the old timeline, she'd groomed him, waiting till I was gone to bed him, then leveraged it to control the family fortune. One Sunday brunch, my spinach quiche. Fresh scones, Ethan announced. Lila's hooking me up with her VC contact. Could be huge. Mark high-fived her. That's my girl. I plated the quiche. Steam rising like ghosts. Huge's relative.
F.
Vet them hard. VCs eat dreamers for breakfast. Lila's fork paused.
Ah.
Poppy's just protective. Mothers. Am I right? The word mothers landed like a slap. She'd never call me that in the future. Not after testifying I was unstable, a pill-popping fraud. I met her eyes. Protective? Damn right. Blood's thicker than ink. Ethan rolled his eyes. Mom. But Mark squeezed my hand. She's right. Son. Caution's key. A win. Small but sweet. Lila's smile tightened, and I savored it like the first bite of forbidden fruit. As spring thawed the streets, I escalated. Enrolled in night classes at NYU Cybersecurity, the better to hack back. Professor was a grizzled ex-NSA type, cracking jokes about Snowden over IP addresses. Trust no one. Harrington. Especially not your own keyboard. Amen. I practiced on dummies, then real targets, Lila's cloud storage, lightly encrypted. Jackpot photos of her and Mark in the office, timestamps from last summer's conference, and emails to a PI, digging dirt on me. Uncover skeletons. Make her crack. She'd hired her own Sarah.
Cute.
I didn't confront. Instead, I mirrored anonymous tips to the SEC, vague enough to spook without tracing. Mark's meetings grew tense. Phone calls hushed. Just compliance bullshit, he'd grumble. Lila noticed, cornering me in the laundry room one humid evening. Dryers hum masking our words. Poppy. Everything okay? Mark seems off.
Off.
Like how you two stay late brainstorming? I folded towels with precision. Creases sharp as my tone. Her laugh was forced. Jealous? It's business. Business with benefits? The words hung.
Bold.
Controversial, crossing into territory that could shatter the peace I'd feigned. She flushed, stepping close. Careful.
Poppy.
Tongues wag in small circles. Is that a threat? I didn't back down. The heat from the dryer mirroring the fire in my gut. Just advice. From friend. She sauntered out, heels clicking judgment. That night, I slept with a knife under the pillow. Kitchen pairing. Not for use, but symbol. Old habits from the fear years. Ethan's startup pitched in May. A fintech app for micro-investments. Lila co-presented, her slides slick, stealing his thunder. He won seed funding, $500K, but the terms? Usurious. With her VC firm holding veto power. I reviewed the docs in secret, red flags waving like parade banners. Ethan, this clause, they can tank you on a whim. He waved me off, buzzed on Victory Rose.
Mom.
It's standard. Lila says. Lila says a lot. Listen to your gut. He hugged me.
Stiff.
I am. Trust me.
Trust.
The currency I'd bankrupted. Summer scorched the city. Rooftop parties resuming with social distance flair. We hosted one, craft cocktails, string lights dangling over the Hudson. Lila shone, networking like a pro, her dress a whisper of silk. Mark drank too much. arm around her waist in photos I later doctored for my file. I played the perfect hostess, but slipped away to the guest room, rifling her drawer. Lipstick tubes, tampons and a flash drive tucked in a jewelry box. Plugged into my laptop, spreadsheets. Our spreadsheets. Projections for Harrington diversification, with my name on dummy core. Primed for laundering. Bingo. The secret she'd buried, not just affair, but conspiracy. She'd forged my involvement deeper than Mark knew, using his dalliance as leverage. Do this, or the wife learns everything. My hands shook as I copied it. This was the crime I'd shouldered, the felony that landed me in Rikers. Body failing under stress. Pills my exit.
Back at the party.
I toasted.
To secrets.
May they stay buried. Lila clinked, eyes narrowing. Mark slurred agreement. Ethan cheered, oblivious. Fall brought harvest festivals in the Hamptons. Our family getaway. Mark's idea. To reconnect. We rented a modernist beach house, glass walls. Infinity pool overlooking dunes. Lila tagged along. As family. Days blurred. Yoga on the sand, her. Golf, him. Me sketching ad concepts by the fire pit. Nights?
Tense.
I'd hear them, Mark and Lila, on the deck. Whispers carried by salt wind. Ethan confided in me one dawn walk. Waves crashing. Lila's intense.
Huh?
Pushes hard. Pushback's healthy.
Kiddo.
Don't let her steamroll. He nodded, but doubt flickered. Progress. The controversial decision came mid-trip. A storm rolled in. Power flickering. Trapped inside. Board games turned to truths. Lila suggested never have I ever. Boozy. Revealing. Never have I ever cheated, she started. Eyes on me. Mark shifted. I drank first. Guilty. On a diet.
Once.
Chocolate. Laughter. But tension coiled. Her turn. Never have I ever lied to protect someone I love. I drank again. White lies to kids about Santa. Ethan drank too. Mark didn't. Lila's gaze bored into him. Then mine. Never have I ever destroyed a family for ambition. Silence. Glasses hovered. Poppy. Mark warned. I set mine down. Hypothetical. Of course. But ambition? It's a thief. Lila slammed hers. This game's stupid. Stormed to her room. Later. Alone with Mark. He snapped. What the hell was that? Trying to start shit. I faced him.
Calm.
Just playing. But if shoes fit. He grabbed my arm. Hard. Bruising. Watch yourself. Lila's good for us.
Us.
Not me. I wrenched free. Storming out to the beach. Rain pelted. Mixing with tears, not of pain, but fury. This was the moment in the old life, the first bruise. The gaslighting that escalated to isolation. Back inside. Dried off.
I packed a bag.
Need space. Girls' weekend in the city. He apologized with flowers, but I was gone. Sarah's couch became my war room. Plotting the next phase. Go public?
No.
Too soon. Build the case ironclad. Ethan called daily. Dad's a mess. Lila's.
Clingy.
Good. Let it fester. Thanksgiving loomed. Turkey and tension. Lila hosted her thank you for the summer. Uptown brownstone. Catered perfection. But I brought my pie.
Uninvite tradition.
At table. Mark. Ethan. Lila's friends. Slick financiers. Conversation veered to scandals. Enron echoes. Women get blamed first, one quipped. Lila laughed. Always the wife. Right, Poppy? I carved the bird. Or the mistress who thinks she's invisible. Fork stilled. Her smile froze. Excuse me? Just saying. History's full of them. Mark coughed. Pass the gravy. Ethan changed subjects. But the seed planted. Whispers followed me to the powder room. By Christmas, fractures showed. Mark's firm audited, my anonymous tip bearing fruit. Routine, he lied. Lila vanished for a week. Family emergency. She returned gaunt. Accusatory glances my way. Ethan pulled back, citing project deadlines. New Year's 2022. Another dinner. My dish centerpiece, roast lamb with rosemary. Her mock coming soon, but not yet. I raised a glass. To 2022, may it reveal all. They drank. I didn't. Poisons for amateurs. Truth is the blade. 2022 dawned with Omicron waves and hybrid work, the loft a pressure cooker of half-truths. Mark's audits dragged.
Est-ce c'est un sniffing?
He paced nights, scotch in hand, blaming bureaucrats.
Ide not sympathetically.
Then retreat to my office, the spare room now mine, walls papered with printouts. A corkboard of timelines like a detective's fever dream. Lila doubled down. Her affection for Ethan blatant. Study dates at coffee shops. Her feeding him croissants. Laughing at code jokes. He lapped it up. 25 now. Post-grad glow fading under startup grind. I drop hints. She's twice your age and experience.
Eth.
Worlds collide.
Mom. Chill.
It's platonic.
Platonic my ass.
The old timeline flashed. Wedding bells for them by 2024.
Me disowned.
Dying alone. I countered with bonding. Mother-son hikes in Prospect Park. Fall leaves crunching underfoot. Remember when you were little? Building forts in the living room? He grinned.
Rare. Yeah.
You were my hero. Still am.
Kid.
Heroes fight dirty sometimes.
He paused.
You okay? Seem intense. Just life. Baby. It hardens you. We sat on a bench. Skyline distant. And I almost spilled the betrayal.
The death.
But no, knowledge burdens. Sarah's report landed in March. Lila's daddy. Senator Voss. Indicted for insider trading. She's the loose end, Sarah texted. Leverage. Tempting. I drafted an email to his prosecutor, anonymous. CCING, a journalist at the Post. Daughters involved. Follow the funds. Sent. Ripple started. Headlines about Voss family ties to shady investments. Lila's name surfaced. Not central, but enough to spook. She confronted Mark at dinner, my lasagna. Bubbling cheese, a false comfort. This about me? Someone's gunning. He shrugged. Coincidence. I serve seconds. World small. Secrets travel. Her eyes drilled mine. Not all secrets are worth digging up. Poppy. Depends on the dirt. Controversial? Hell yes. Accusing without proof. In her home. But the air crackled. Electric. Ethan shifted. Guys. Chill. Post-meal. She cornered me in the hall. back off. Or Ethan learns things about his mom. Like what? My instability? I leaned in, breath mingling. Try me. She blinked, then smiled venom. Game on. Spring bloomed with cherry blossoms and my promotion, creative director. Salary bump funding private eyes. Mark celebrated with a weekend in the Berkshires. Just us. Hotel room overlooked misty hills. King bed a battlefield. You're distant, he murmured, hands roaming. Am I? I flipped him.
Straddling.
Or are you? Sex was weapon now, drawing confessions in afterglow. Lila. She's just an asset. Asset with benefits. I traced his scar from a boyhood bike crash. He stiffened. What? Rumors.
Mark.
Firm talk.
Lie.
But it landed.
Nothing.
Swear. But his eyes darted. I believed nothing. Believed everything. Ethan's app launched in May, beta users raving. Lila's VC pouring more cash. Launch party at a Soho loft. EDM thumping. Champagne flutes clinking. She was arm candy, introducing him as my protégé. I arrived late. Red dress hugging curves I'd reclaimed via Peloton. Ethan, proud doesn't cover it. He hugged tight. Couldn't without you. Mom. Liar, without her. But I schmoozed, collecting cards, eyes on her across the room, whispering to a silver-haired investor. Midnight. Fireworks over the skyline. I pulled Ethan aside. That guy's her dad's old crony. Careful, their money's cursed.
He waved.
It's fine. Not fine. Next week. App glitch, user funds vanished.
Traced to a backdoor.
Sabotage? Or sloppiness? Ethan panicked, calling me at 3 a.m.
Mom.
It's tanking. Freeze accounts. Audit code. I coached, then called Sarah, Lila's prince.
Digital forensics, yes.
Her IP on the breach. I didn't tell him. Instead, fed the story to a tech blogger. Insider sabotage at hot fintech debut. Article dropped. Stock whispers. Lila raged at our next family meeting. Mark's office. Leather chairs creaking. This is bullshit. Someone's framing me.
Me.
Silent. Sipping water. Mark, calm down. Ethan, it was my code.
But.
Timing's off. I spoke then. Trust but verify. Always. Her glare could curdle milk. Summer scorched again. Family vaki to the Keys, yacht rental. Mark's treat, turquoise waters. But storms brewed below deck. Lila sunbathed topless, testing boundaries. Ethan averted eyes, but lingered. I snorkeled alone. Reefs teeming, mind plotting. Controversial move. Spike her drink with laxatives? Petty. But payback for a forged email I'd discovered, one painting me as abusive.
No.
Hire road. Record her calls. Bug in the yacht's speaker. Courtesy Sarah. Harvest. Mark and Lila arguing. You promised clean? Her. Your wife sniffing.
Wife. Me.
Back in NYC. Fall elections loomed. Voss Sr. Lost. Scandal deepening. Lila spiraled, popping Xanax like candy. Ethan noticed. She's off. Mom. People break under pressure. Thanksgiving at ours, turkey. My cranberry relish. Tension simmered. She skipped wine, eyes bloodshot. Post-feast. Dishes clattering.
She snapped at Ethan.
Your mom's pie? Amateur hour. He laughed it off. I didn't. Amateur? Like your investments? Mark intervened. Room thawed, but ice lingered. Christmas. Gifts wrapped in lies. I gave Lila a necklace, choker.
Tight.
Suits you. Restrains. She wore it, choking on unspoken barbs. New Year's 2023. Countdown ticking. My roast beef centerpiece. As Auld Lang Syne played, Mark pulled me aside. Divorce papers? What the fuck? Poppy. I'd filed quietly, citing irreconcilable. Service via Sarah. Time for truths. Mark. He paled. Lila said you were cracking. Lila lies. I walked away, confetti falling like ash. The war escalated. 2023 roared in with lawsuits and leaks. The city a coliseum where gladiators bled, ink not blood. My divorce filing hit the tabloids. Ad exec dumps Wall Street wolf. Anonymous source.
Natch.
Mark called raging. You'll ruin us. Us ended years ago.
Click.
Lila moved in officially, supporting him. Ethan split time. His app rebounding but trust fractured. Dad cheated. He asked over burgers at Shake Shack. Rain slicking the windows.
Worse.
Betrayed. I spared details, but planted. Lila's the architect. He denied.
No way.
She's family.
Family.
The word soured. I thrived solo, new apartment in Chelsea. Gallery walls bare for now, filled with case files. Work boomed. Campaign for a whistleblower app. Ironic. Sarah and I met weekly at dive bars. Plotting. Hit her where it hurts. Custody of the narrative. She slid docs. Lila's psych eval from college. Borderline traits. Weaponized? Morally gray.
Sure.
But survival's no ethics seminar. Spring scandal. Voss Sr. Pleaded guilty. Naming associates. Lila's bank ties probed. She lawyered up. Depositions dragging Mark in. He begged a truce lunch at the Polo Bar, oatmeal stout. His hands shaking. Pops. Call it off. For Ethan. Ethan deserves better than liars. I stirred my old-fashioned.
Confess.
The affairs. The fraud. His eyes darted. Lila. She pushed. Own it. Controversial. Offering mercy for truth. He took it. Partial, admitting dalliances. Blaming stress. No fraud mention. I recorded it. Leaked edited clips to his board. Resignation followed. Personal reasons. Lila blamed me publicly. Instagram rant. Betrayal from within. Comments exploded. Toxic email trending. Ethan called crying. Why? Mom, you're destroying them. Them destroyed me first. Slip too much. He hung up. Summer scorched truths. I confronted her at a Hamptons gala. White tents billowing. She in emerald silk. Me in black. Game over. Lila. I know the flash drive. The forgeries. Her laugh brittle. Prove it. I will. Handed her a USB, my copy, laced with tracker. Your move. She paled. Champagne spilling. You bitch. Survivor's perk. Walked away. Heels sinking in sand. Ethan ghosted me. Then resurfaced. Found the emails. Dad and her. Planning to frame you. Relief. Then rage. Come home, baby.
He did.
crashing my couch. We rebuilt movie nights. Therapy, mine. Real this time. But he defended her still. She's broken too. Broken things cut deepest. Fall elections postmortem. Voss family toxic. Lila's job gone. Blackballed. She holed up with Mark in a Jersey rental. Rehabbing. Thanksgiving 2023. Neutral ground. Neutral turkey at a midtown hotel. Awkward silences. My yams untouched. She mocked softly. Poppy's cooking quaint. Ethan snapped. Stop. Mark silent. I smiled. Quaint wins wars. Post-meal. Ethan pulled me aside. I'm done with her. And Dad. Pride swelled. But the twist loomed. Christmas. Solo for me. Tree twinkling alone. Ethan visited. Gift a locket, Mom's photo inside. You're enough. New Year's 2024. The dinner. Our reconciliation. Mark's plea. At the old loft. Now his and hers. Table set formal. Crystal.
Silver.
My dish. Beef Wellington. Pastry flawless. Revenge in reduction sauce. Guests. Ethan's girlfriend knew. Sweet. A few firm holdovers. Lila. Radiant in red. Toasting fresh starts. Bite 1. She chews. Smiles. Bite 2. Pause. Poppy.
This.
It's dry.
Like.
Overdone. Ever heard of sous vide? Room freezes. Ethan stiffens. Girlfriend coughs. Mark clears throat. Lila. But I lean in. Voice velvet.
Dry.
Funny.
Coming from you.
All flash.
No substance.
Her eyes narrow. Excuse me? You heard. Like your investments. All smoke. Leaving ashes. I slide a folder across, printed emails. Her forgeries. Affair pics. Voss ties. Or this. The plot to bury me alive.
Gasps.
Ethan. Mom? Mark. White as bone. Lila laughs.
Shrill.
Fabrications. She's unhinged. Then Mark stands. Voice thunder.
No.
She's right. He turns to her. Face crumpling. You made me. The lies. The money, it was you. I loved you. But God. The cost. Room frozen. Breaths held. Lila stammers. Mark. Baby.
Out. He points. Now.
She flees.
Sobbing. Door slamming echo.
Ethan hugs me. How?
Second chance.
Kid. Half-truth. But the real twist? As cleanup began. Mark knelt. Pops. Forgive? I was weak. I helped him up. Weak's forgivable.
Cruel isn't.
We didn't reconcile, not fully. But Ethan thrived.
At booming sans string.
Lila? Disappeared. Whispers of a plea deal. Therapy in seclusion.
Me?
Alive. Scarred. But sovereign. Yet in quiet nights. I wonder, was revenge justice? Or just another cage? 2024 unfolded like a phoenix from controlled burn, ashes of the old life fertilizing new growth. The dinner's fallout rippled. Headlines screamed, Wall Street love triangle implodes, paparazzi swarming the loft like vultures on roadkill. Mark sold the place. Decamping to a one-bed in Midtown. Therapy mandated AA meetings his new boardroom. Rebuilding, he emailed. CCNG our lawyer.
I didn't reply.
Forgiveness? A luxury for the unbroken. Ethan and I, ironclad. His app hit unicorn status by summer. Forbes 30 under 30 nod. Me at the gala in a pantsuit sharp as my vindication. To Mom, he toasted, arm linked mine. His girl, Mia, kind-eyed coder, whispered, "You're a badass." Learned the hard way. We danced to indie rock. City lights blurring. No ghosts in the machine. Lila vanished into witness protection light, relocated to Philly. Clerking at a bookstore.
Parsar style.
No more Louboutins, just hoodies and regret. She reached out once. Burner text. Sorry doesn't cut it. But it was him. Always him. Delete. Some debts aren't collectible. Work? I launched my agency, Harrington Disrupt, boutique for ethical brands. Whistleblowers. Green tech.
Stories that bit back. Client Floqued, Sarah Partnerd.
PI arm for vetting. Fall brought the trial, Mark's fraud case. Lila testifying for immunity. Courtroom in Foley Square. Wood paneled like a coffin. I attended once. Incognito in the back. Watching her squirm under cross. MS. Voss. The forgeries, your signature on the laptop hack. Sweat beaded.
I. Advised.
Advised fraud. Judge banged gavel. Mark took the stand.
Broken.
My wife, Poppy, she warned me. I didn't listen. Jury out 3 hours. Guilty. 5 years probation. Restitution. He nodded at me leaving court. Eyes pleading. I nodded back, neutral. A door cracked but not open. Thanksgiving, Ethan's. In his Williamsburg brownstone. Turkey brined. Mia's mac and cheese stealing show. No Mark. No Lila, just us. Laughter real. Remember that dinner? Ethan chuckled over pie, store-bought.
Safe.
How could I forget? Your dad's mic drop. He sobered. You saved us.
Mom.
From what? From becoming them. Half-lie. The full truth, my death. The pills. The rebirth stayed buried. Some secrets protect. Christmas. Snow dusting the city. Me in a cabin upstate. Fire crackling. Journal open. Entries, not plots, but dreams. Travel? Italy. Pasta making classes. Write a book? Memoir. Veiled as fiction. New Year's 2025. Solo toast in the city. Ball dropping over Times Square. Confetti storm. Phone buzzed, Ethan. Love you. Happy. Happiest. Truth. But dawn brought the twist. The one death couldn't erase. Coffee brewing. News alert. Lila Voss found. Suicide note alleges blackmail. Details trickled. She'd jumped from a bridge. Note naming me. Poppy knew. Drove me to it. Horror iced my veins. Sarah called. Fabrication. But it'll stick. It did. Whispers. That MILF from the scandal. Murder her? Ethan defended. Press statements. My alibi ironclad. But eyes followed at meetings. Markets. Mark resurfaced. Doorstep desperate. She was lying. But did you push too hard? Rage flared. Me? She killed me first. Slip Freudian. Damning. His eyes widened. What? I shut the door. Too late. The real end? Not tragedy, but catharsis laced bitter. Charges never stuck. Note debunked. Forensics showing her prints on the fraud docs. But the scar. Ethan's distance grew. Therapy joint now. Unpacking family trauma. I wrote the book, Reset, A Widow's Reckoning, Veiled.
Best-selling. Tour.
Podcasts. Revenge?
Na.
Justice.
Inside.
Doubt not. Was rebirth a gift or curse? Had I become the monster? Controversial decisions echoing her cruelty? Spring 2025. Walking the High Line. Cherry blossoms shedding. Ethan beside. Miss Dad. Sometimes. You? He nodded. But we're good. We are. Death taught. Life's not fairy tales. It's gritty reboots. Where heroes bleed. Villains crack. And endings? Open. Tense. American as apple pie laced with arsenic. I glance back, no ghosts. Just forward. One vengeful step.